Welcome to the Crypto Domain, your front row seat to crypto's biggest moves. We're going to touch on a few different things today. We're going to do our weekly roundup. This one's a bit late because I've been pretty sick, so I haven't been able to post anything. We'll touch on the Israel, Iran, now USA stuff. Obviously seen what's happening in the market there. Trump making an announcement about the ceasefire. We saw that market start to turn, so we'll have a look at the market. We'll touch on the top 5 coins. I'm not going to focus on the X top 5 today because there's things like USDC, BTC, things like that. We'll just have a look at a couple of other sources of trending information, see what's in there. We'll have a look at the categories. We'll have a look at the indicators and what's coming up in the next week. So let's start with the 5, well, not even the 5. We've got here the top trending coins or most viewed coins as appear on CoinGecko. So you can see TONG coin up there, SWI, however you want to pronounce that. You got Say, you got Notecoin, Virtual's Protocol is in the top 5 there, which I did a video on not that long ago. It's interesting to see Say making a reasonable move. There was a time when SWI and Say were a little bit like sort of Polkadot and Cardano in the 2021, where they were the same market caps, if you like. Let's have a look at what's in the next one. So this here is LunarCrush, so a little bit different sources. This picks up, mentions, engagements, things like that. So again, we've got Say, SWI up the top here, Pepe, but you've still got Say, so those two are in both. You've then got LaunchCoin and you've got Movement of the top 5 coming through there with a couple of other meme coins and that also floating through. The other thing we know is going on is what's happening in the Middle East. We've seen Bitcoin rebound today. We've seen a bit of the market rebound over the last 24 hours. We had that tweet from Trump about the ceasefire. Yes, there's still some bombing going on, and people on X, as always is the case, they're either blinded by their following of one thing or the other. They don't research. They jump on something straight away. It was said there was going to be a timing of the ceasefires by Iran and Israel. The whole thing should be done in 24 hours. So instead of everyone jumping off their trees, maybe they need to just read a bit more, but that tends to be the mentality of 90% of people on X, I've noticed, and there's not a lot of rationale going on. But yeah, we can see, we'll have a look, but I don't believe it's at 106K at the moment. I think it's come back a little bit, but it's definitely bounced, right, from where we were. It dropped below that 100K. We can see here as well, there's sharp 8% drop in Bitcoin's hash rate. Now, that's raised some concerns about if there is mining going on over in the Middle East, and more specifically, they mention in here Iran. So is there some mining going on over in Iran? There's no way to verify that there is or there isn't, right? There's no data to stipulate that. So again, let's not jump at shadows, but that could have been a driver. Yeah, of course it could have been, but no one knows. The other thing is, traders are increasingly betting on the likelihood of the US Federal Reserve lowering interest rates in the near term. Now, if we go to our scientific sources, otherwise known as Polymarket, what are we looking at here? No change for the July one is sitting at 78%, which is pretty high at the moment. We'll see how that moves as we move through the back end of June, which is really only another week, and we head into July. But at the moment, I'd be siding on the no change based on Polymarket. As we move into September, we're seeing a no change and a 25 basis point cut, almost 50-50. I feel if there's not one in July, we will get one in September. And then, October, it's a long way out. 49% no change. I'm not sure if we can get the volume of bets and that on this, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see anyway. But at the moment, July, there's a heavy prediction of a no change coming through for the rates. Let's jump in and have a look at the markets. Might need my seeing eyes for this. Okay. So we can see market cap's 3.4, which was roughly where I left it a bit over a week ago. Volume's down slightly from where it was. Dominance is at 62.2. Remember, this is CoinGecko. I know there will be other ones out there that show a different dominance, potentially 64, 65, something like that. ETH on this is, but on our measurement, it is still up. ETH is down. It was at around 9% last time, about a week ago. If we look at, okay, as I said, Bitcoin has dropped. It's at 104, nearly 105. 24 hours, it's up 3.7%. Ethereum's up 7.5%. And there's a lot of talk around Ethereum at the moment. A lot of positive talk around it. So we will see what's happening. It is still, of the remaining altcoins outside of stable coins, which I don't classify as alts anyway, it is quite high. The next closest is XRP, which is a lot less. It's almost a third of the market cap, right? We come on down. What do we see? Sweet, 12.3%. Chainlink, 11.2%. H-bars at 11.3%. So we also Pepe, top meme here at 11.9 at the moment. Aave, which I'm in the middle of doing a video for. I was hoping to have that out, but I've been sick, so haven't been able to. But that will be my next token video release. That's at 13.2. Potenza Tau, so I think that's going to be a good play. I do hold Tau. I think a lot of people hold Tau. It's a good AI play. That's at 15.9. Near Protocol at 12. Ondo at 12. Casper at 11.7. I mean, it's so far down. Any movement, reasonable movement, is probably going to give that a good nudge. I do believe in Casper long term. I do hold Casper. I think it will be strong as a proof of work. The speed. I think they really need to get the smart contracts happening. If they can then get stable coins on there and get people building on the platform, they need to, just be rid of some of the stuff that's going on in the community around, X accounts and all the rest of that sort of stuff. FET, another strong. AI really is being the stronger, although it's the second lowest on the category moves. Second worst, sorry, for the category moves. It's still a strong narrative that I think will probably end up outside of maybe some L1s, which are always strong. I think AI is going to be the one to watch. Render, another AI, 13.9. There's a few good double-digit ones. Say, here we go, 32.3. So that's why it was on both of those trending and also the LunarCrush one, which takes into account a few other social metrics. So I may actually start looking at those a bit more. I do like the two different views there. And Jupiter 17.2. You got SPX 6900, that's at 24.6, another big one. Virtuals at 20.4, another big one. Now, we've been talking about that one for a while. I've done a video on virtuals. Drop below what tokens or coins you might like to see. I've got a few lined up that I want to do, but drop below any that you might be interested in. I'll see if I can put those in there. I'm probably going to focus initially a bit more, maybe 70-30 on top 100 tokens for people that are coming in that are a bit more beginner and aren't interested in just being complete degens like some of the rest of us. Let's have a look at the bubbles. We can see the green on the day. As we'd expect, there's red for the week, and we can see that up here, red for the week, red for the month. Not on everything, obviously, but a lot of green happening with that ceasefire, I'd say, is what's turned that at the moment. And if we look at the 100, 200, we're seeing the same thing. And as we go up, we'll probably see it like consistently across everything, 300 to 400, 400 to 500, etc., etc. So, but again, that ceasefire breaks after the time that's been given, not not now when people just can't bother reading. That'll be interesting because that what we're seeing now will more than likely go red. If we jump in and have a look at the indicators now, again, I'm going to do a video where I'm just going to go through each of these indicators, where they were in the last couple of cycles, where they've got to so far in this cycle, and why I believe that we are not, or we have not had a bull run yet, and why I still believe it's coming in the back end of the year around the Q4 period. We can see, again, I've covered all the market cap, etc. The Coinbase app is nowhere near where we'd expect it. Fear and greed must have changed when I did this, but it's down on last week, but it's definitely been moving. Look at it compared to yesterday, a big jump up. We've got monthly returns. I mean, I said at the beginning of the month, the June is often red. I'm not sure this month will be red. It's not heavily red considering what we've been through, but we have had that turn of the market. That's going to be determined by, I mean, obviously the next few days, but it's going to be determined 100% by what happens in the Middle East. ETF, so they had $1 billion inflow last week. Now, remember Juneteenth, the markets were closed as well. So that was only 4 days worth of trading, which is pretty strong. And we can have a quick look here at the Bitcoin. So we can see, and this is now this week, Monday was 350. But if we look at last week, as I said, the 19th was a close, but some strong performances. If we have a look at the ETH flow, again, positive. It had a negative to close out the week, but then look at today. Not today, yesterday, sorry, 100. So, there's still a lot of activity happening there. Let's have a look at the categories. So, as I said, layer 1 is the best of the worst because they're all red. Storage is the worst of the worst. It's not one that many people will be following unless they have like Altcoin or AR or something like that, right? Arweave. So the next one I'd probably look at that most people would be interested in would be AI, and AI is the worst. Gaming also. Now there's been a lot of talk around gaming coming through the last couple of years and how that's going to be the narrative to run, and Alex Becker's been going on about it. He's changed his tune. He's moved to AI more so than gaming. He'll always talk gaming. His partners, he started that super, and he's got Neo Tokyo and all that, which is all gaming related. So it's always going to be a big play for him, but he's talking more about the AI stuff now. I think you'd be mad not to with what's happening in general in the world with AI and the adoption in people's day-to-day lives with AI. So I think that'll be a big one to watch. If anything, for me, I see that as an opportunity because I think AI is going to run. And there's lots of plays out there. There's Tau, there's Render. There's lots of solid AI plays out there that people can get into. Obviously, do all your own research on that. Okay, the other thing I wanted to just touch on briefly is the reserve race. So in here, we've got it's bitcoinlaws.io. And the home screen is like a map of the states, and you can click on every state and it tells you what's been rejected, what's passed, etc. But it shows you Texas. So part of the big news was Texas has just passed theirs. So they're establishing the Bitcoin reserve. So they're the third state after we've got Arizona, New Hampshire, and then Texas. What's that one for? That's all for digital assets. So yeah, and then you've got other ones down here, which, they haven't come along on the ride, or certain bills have been rejected. But you can go in here and check all of that for your own state if you're in America and you're interested in what's happening in your state. I like to go in here and just see, because for me, it's all adoption, and the more adoption in the States, the better for crypto in general. As we all know, it's the biggest market. So that's another interesting one to follow. If we look at what's coming up, there's a lot coming up. So again, I'd always advise people to go and have a look at CoinMarketCal.com. You can put in your dates that you want to look at. You can put in tokens. You can put in, top 500, top 300 meme, whatever. You know, you can pick your individual tokens. I just throw in the top 100. There's 2 pages of stuff today, so we'll be really quick. If you're interested in learning more about these, or your tokens are outside top 100 or whatever, just go to the site, CoinMarketCal.com, and put your information in and filter on what you need. Okay. So you've got XTC, XT.com listing. What else you got here that'll be of interest? You got BNB Super Meetup for those people in BNB. It's a big chain. It's got a big following. Injective Summit. There was something I saw earlier. This one here, KAIA, Kaya, how you pronounce it. That's been sort of making the headlines a little bit lately with moves and things like that. So there's a community town hall going on for that. Again, Alpha Cloud and Hyperliquid. So Hyper's definitely been in the news lately. XRP, EVM compatible sidechain. What else we got? Sonic Airdrop Phase 1, Cardano, Rev Launch. Oh, that's another thing, Midnight. So there's a bit going on with Midnight, taking the snapshots, things like that. There's going to be, I think it's 8 chains. So you're going to have BTC, you're going to have Ripple, so XRP, Ethereum, Cardano, Avalanche, BAT, it's a basic attention token, BNB and Sol. They're all getting airdrop. Now, I believe 50% of the airdrop will go to ADA holders as a reward for supporting Cardano on that, obviously, through all this time. So, but there is, just be careful if you're not holding on a DEX or in a wallet or something, like in a wallet, in a cold wallet or a hot wallet, as they may not be going to centralized exchanges. So I've got to do a bit more research on that. I've started doing the research because I want to do a video on it, but I haven't gone into all the detail. Originally, my understanding was that they would be going to centralized exchanges, and then the exchanges would be allocating them out to the holders' wallets that hold the ADA on their exchange. Whether you can trust that or not, who the hell knows. The safest way to do it, and if you're staking anyway, you're going to have your tokens in like a Dualis wallet or something like that, where you will get that airdrop anyway. So if you're not staking, you're on a centralized exchange, then that's a different story. So look into that. Okay, now what else we got? We've got Floki, so you got Valhalla or Mainnet, no additional information. No, there will be a lot of Floki holders. Polkadot public mobile app, Polkadot, there'll be a lot of holders probably from 2021. I just haven't, I mean, I hold Polkadot from 2021. The marketing for that, I just don't think's there. Avalanche, what else we got here? VeChain, staking and NFT program. This is all June stuff. Monero Foundation Passport app. Cake Wallet develops Monero app for Foundation Passport Prime. Sui, Exociety launch. Optimism, so they've got a token unlock through 31.34 million. So what's that? 1.85%. So, you know, it may impact price. There's a whole lot of other issues going on around price at the moment. That would probably be the least of my concern. Proposal seeks to ratify alignment from the Polkadot community to launch a Polkadot branded payment card for the ecosystem. That's an interesting one. So there's a vote going on for that for Polkadot, and Flare and Uphold. I know a lot of people in the States use Uphold, and a lot of people use that originally to onboard with Casper, because it's not on, you know, a tier 1 exchange. So a lot of people use that for, you know, they don't have to use VPNs and all that sort of stuff. So that's Flare. And then the last one on 3 is going to be, I might as well check it, but it's going to be Mt. Gox. I can guarantee it. Oh, KuCoin and Mt. Gox. Yeah. Look, that's it. Just really just a roundup. As I said, Sorry it's a late video. Haven't been too well. Tried to capture the week ahead and the last week in the one video. I will be releasing another one of the sort of Gen X videos hopefully this week. I'm going to try and record that tomorrow. And I really want to try and get that Aave token video out that I've already started recording, but just haven't been able to do over the last 4 days due to being sick. So I'm hoping to get those out this week and then be back in the normal schedule come Saturday and do the next weekly update then. But look, guys, hopefully you get some value out of these videos. If you do, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, click that bell notification so you're notified every time I release a video. And remember, crypto's an adventure. Get into it. I'll see you in the next one.